Mr. Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today we have two replays in the tier 10 Japanese tech tree tank destroyer, the Hori 3. So this is the final tank in the line which you're all aiming to get by going through this line. And yeah, what I'll do, I'll just briefly, like the others, go through a few of the statistics and then we'll get into the replay. So this is very much like an upgraded version of the tier 9. You've got a 700 alpha gun with 305 penetration on your standard AP rounds with a shell velocity of 980. You then got 360 penetration on your premium AP rounds with a shell velocity of 1050, 90 penetration on your HE with 900 alpha. You've got, like the tier 9, 7 degrees of gun depression, top speed of 55 kilometers an hour, which would be nice if it was a little bit quicker, if I'm honest, but it does at least get to that top speed quite nicely and fairly quickly. The concealment is still good, but not as good as the tier 9. It's got a concealment value of my setup of 297. But overall, I have quite enjoyed playing it. Like I say, the armour is very much like the tier 9, where it's essentially, it's good until it's not. Meaning, it's good until tanks start firing the premium and those heat rounds, etc. at you. You can make it work until that happens. But overall, it's a fairly balanced tank destroyer. I feel like this is how a lot of tank destroyers should be, to be honest, with the 700 alpha. So you might think it's lacking compared to the other TDs, but I just feel like I'm more happy. I look at it a different way. I look at it that this is how the tank destroyers should be, and this is more balanced, and I quite enjoy playing it. But that's enough for me just rambling. Let's get onto the replays, and we can see how the tank gets on. Okay then, so here we are for the first replay on Corellia. Where we have two enemy artilleries, quite a few tank destroyers, but there is no enemy light tank. Initially, I like to push into a position which I often use on this spawn at the start in a tank destroyer like this, just to punish anything coming and trying to cross towards the hill, see if we can get any shots in nice and early where we are unlit, and then go from there. Just pick up a bit of early damage and then work out, where the tanks have gone. Like always, just looking at the map, counting tanks, counting where they are, where their locations are, and then you can make an educated decision based on where you believe the enemy tanks are located. But this is my normal starting position. You do have to be a little bit careful because it is a predictable place to be, and you can get blind fired in this location, and that's always something to look out for. But quite nice and early off, we get a early shot into tier 8 medium there, picking up 662 damage, and a decent start to this game. And we do manage to stay unlit as well, which is good. Then the enemy heavy tanks poke around this corner, and this is why I'm set in a nice position to get shots in. If they do poke around this corner, like that enemy heavy tank, and we pick up our second pen, putting us onto 1300 damage, and getting off to a really good start to this game. There's an enemy badger which should be able to pin. I'm waiting to try and get one through the track wheel. We do, and we pick up another shot, putting to 2000 damage, and we pick up a little bit of track assistance as well. So we've had a really decent start to this game, landing some damage, a little bit of a track assistance, and that quite there. Can you see where the tracer was? We go for a blind fire, and that's always something you can do. You see an enemy tracer fire, that means there's a tank there, and we just picked up a blind fire for our fourth shot of the game, and we're going to try again to try and line up a blind fire shot here. This time it doesn't go our way. But we, again, it's a fairly even start to this game. We picked up quite a nice bit of damage. There hasn't been too many enemy tanks spotted the other side, so I'm thinking they probably are in this location. We put one in through the engine of that German heavy tank there, putting us onto 3,300. And when you're in a situation like this, I mean, the reload's not that long, so you can just keep this gun sort of slinging, and you can sort of pick up a bit of damage. But I kind of feel like it's that time where I might be able to move a little bit forward to get some more shots in. But this enemy Jag E100 gets spotted, and we put another shot in for his lower plate. Putting us onto 4,000 damage now with 6 penetrations with 4,000 damage and 400 assistance. So gone off to a fantastic start to the game. And we're going to move forward and see if we can get some more shots, because now these tanks are kind of backing up around that corner. I try and need to get a different angle if I want to try and get some more shots in. We do actually manage to detect an enemy S-Bahn here, and we put one in, and we do get detected for it. So we now need to pull back and try and get safe. Again, my biggest concern is actually the enemy artillery, 2 being in play. You can see one of them was at least looking at us there and did try and fire us and did in fact splash us. That's probably my biggest concern. We do actually get detected there, and unfortunately we get a shot into us, I think from that type, Derptus maybe, but we do at least return the favour and put one in through his cupola, put us on to 5,000 damage, but we did lose a bit of hit points there, and we're down to just over half hit points. Obviously his tank having 2,000 to start with. But we're going to go back, and unfortunately the artillery took some more hit points off of us blind. I don't know if he was guessing that's where I was, or if he was just shooting for that other heavy tank and it happened to hit me and he got a little bit lucky. But I don't really like this anymore. You know, the artillery, I just feel like it's going to hit me. So I'm going to pull safe behind this rock for a second, try and lose my spot, lose my detection, and maybe see if we can get a different angle where it might be harder for the artillery to hit us, because we can see roughly where he is, and it's, yeah, I don't fancy that anymore. At least one of the artilleries has been taken out, but yeah, I think I'm taking too many chances, you know, for landing that big AP pen and killing us. So we're going to try and pull up to the hill. These enemy tanks around the back of this corner kind of backed off, and for me to shoot them I have to get detected, and it's just a little bit awkward when you don't have a turret when you're in a turretless TD. So we're going to see if we can get any easier damage on these tanks which are getting detected in their base. Looking for a shot on this enemy tank destroyer here, who is a one-shot to us, a definite one-shot to us. We do land the shot for our 9th pen, but unfortunately, well, we do pick up the kill, which is nice, but unfortunately we only pick up like 100 damage rather than the 700 damage because he was very low on hit points. But it's turning into quite a close game here. You know, it's 8 versus 7. Our base is pretty unprotected, if you like. I can get back there, but there's quite, you know, I'm also concerned it's only really our one heavy tank holding these tanks off around the corner here. I'm waiting. I'm hoping they push around to try and shoot our heavy tank, and then I'll be in a position to get a quick shot in and then pull back around this corner. Unlike the tier 9, this doesn't have a secondary weapon, and I do quite miss that secondary weapon actually, because I like that for baiting shots. I like to shoot that secondary weapon off and then try and entice someone to come around the corner. But like this, the tier 10 doesn't actually have that, which is a shame, but obviously the tank never had it. I'm just going to try and see if we can, you know, squeeze any angle, but I've just been careful. I know there's TDs probably covering these. This is why I'm not keen on poking around this corner, because it could go south very, very quickly. So I really want those tanks just to poke a little bit, and then we can get a shot in, and then try and hug the wall and try and get safe for some damage. I can see on the other side of the map there is one enemy tank destroyer got detected going for our base. We do still have 2 artilleries and a friendly TD protecting it at this stage. So I'm not going to go back just yet, but I thought maybe I don't want to poke this corner, so I might climb the hill again, and then if the enemy tank destroyer gets detected going towards our base and gets spotted in the open, I might have an opportunity to get another shot in. Because we are having a decent game. We're on sort of what, 5,000 damage now with 1 kill. But there's still 7 tanks in this game, and the pace of the game is relatively slow, so we might have an opportunity to get some more damage in. We are now losing this game. We are 1 tank down, and you know, it's fun when it is close like this, especially towards the end when you have to, you know, kind of think about those sort of late decisions of what you're going to do, rather than it just be a game which is ended in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, which is never really that fun. I mean, even if you're winning, I don't find it that enjoyable just to like smash a team completely. It's much more when it's a little bit competitive towards the end. So we are seeing if we can try and get a shot into this grill. Unfortunately, he is in our render range, but we just don't really have any sort of shots, and I think he's just behind too much sort of hard cover. So we're now thinking we're going to go back, because it looked on the mini map, you know, at least it looked like those TDs were pushing a little bit further around that corner. Not so sure if that's the case, but it kind of looked like it. But then the other enemy TDs, a Badger and I think an enemy SU maybe, I've started to caress this ridge. Now that's not good, because if they poke up that ridge, I'm going to get detected. And then they still have enemy artillery in the game. so they're going to be able to shoot us. And where they were last located, I would not be safe where I was, and it's actually a fairly easy shot for the artillery to hit you on top of that ridge. So that's something which is in the back of my mind. So I'm going to try and ignore that because our heavy tank has died in the bottom. I'm going to go and see if I can deal with that, because we're in a situation now where if we lose the top of this hill, we're also going to have heavy tanks coming behind us here, and I don't want those tanks, I don't want to be having to fight in two different angles. So I'm going to see if I can kill these heavy tanks here. We try and get a shot into that enemy tier 8 heavy tank, but the type comes around, he derps us, putting us onto 400 hit points, but we do at least put him onto a one shot, which is something. So we're hoping to try and finish off the one shot type the best, because a tier 8 is probably going to struggle to pen me. If I can hide my lower plate, he may actually generally struggle to pen me, unlike the tier 10, which is just going to derp us. But now we put both tanks onto a one shot, but if you notice, I've also lost behind us, so I'm under a little bit of pressure of those TDs coming up to try and kill us. Try and finish off the type. We do finish off the type, and now I'm going to try and finish off this one shot tier 8 heavy tank. We do have a TD which is somewhat covering us, so maybe he can get a shot in as well, which he does actually, and he finishes off this tier 8 heavy tank, which is fantastic, because now we can turn our attention to the tanks behind us. And it is only one TD left now and the enemy artillery. I think the last known location was a TD pushing this hill, but with our TD in the middle of the map there, I would have thought just above beyond the river, he probably would have spotted him in the swamp if he was there. But yeah, we're having a nice game. We're just shy of 7,000 damage now with 1,000 assistance and 2 kills. So we've got a real opportunity of, maybe landing another shot into the artillery, maybe getting as close to that 8,000 mark, depending on the hit points of the remaining tank destroyer, which I do not know. I'm trying to go down this a little bit slowly. I don't want to lose any hit points, because we're only on just shy of 500 hit points now. I can't remember what this enemy tank destroyer was now. I don't know if it was an enemy UDES or something maybe, but yeah, I really don't actually know where he is. But we do spot the enemy artillery, and we have an angle to get a shot in. Thankfully that shot hits, putting us onto 7,600 damage. Now he's still got like 1,000 hit points. I'd like to get another shot into him, but I think he's probably going to get shot by our friendly grill chasing him down. So I'm trying to catch up with him. He is running. I'm going to try and catch him off as he tries to escape. He does eat a shot from the grill, so he is now a one shot to us. But we should at least pick up this kill. I'm just going to wait. If he keeps coming around this corner, then I should be aimed in ready. And we do, and that brings us an end to replay number 1. So let's see how we got on with that one. We managed to pick up, I think, about 7,600 damage. Yeah, 7,600 damage, 3 kills, 1,076 assistance. Is only the first class and a high caliber. But that is it for the first replay. Let's move on to the second and final replay. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then on Ellenburg, where there is 1 enemy artillery this time and 2 enemy light tanks and only a few TDs, and other than that a fairly balanced matchmaking with a split between the heavies and the medium tanks. So initially we're going to try on Ellenburg, which can often be a bit of a campy map at least at the start. We're going to try and push across to the other side of this ridge and see if we can spot any tanks crossing and getting in the early damage in from that location. And as always, just seeing how many tanks come, count what the tanks are, and then we can just work out what to do once we've got more information. But that's going to be my initial push, just trying to get up onto that ridge. And you can sort of use the ridge line sort of with that 7 degrees of gun depression. An enemy type gets spotted, so we're going to go and see if we can get an early pen. Unfortunately, it doesn't go well for us at the start, because we don't pen the type and then we eat a shot, losing 700 hit points. So not the best of starts to the game. Yeah, it could have gone better, but we're going to keep going on, pretend that didn't just happen. It was a bit risky me taking that shot where I was, but I wanted to try and get the early damage in. So we do pick up at least a tiny bit of assistance. Now we're going to try and get some shots into these tanks. Obviously got to be a little bit careful of the enemy artillery, but there's not a great deal I can do about that. We do squeeze a nice shot into that Centurion, picking up our first pen and then pulling back down to safety. And I think we do actually high roll that first shot, well, slightly. So yeah, decent start now. Now we're going to try and get one into the type. We do squeeze one into the type, manage to avoid his shot, getting our second pen, and then we're pretty much poking on reload to get as much damage in these tanks as we can. Kind of waiting for that type to kind of have, shot. We're going to see if we can get another shot into this type heavy down at the bottom. We do squeeze another one in, picking up our third penetration here and starting to just wicker away his hit points. There's quite a few tanks, as you can see, pushing towards our base. We do have quite a lot of stuff covering it right now as well, so I'm going to try and just win this side as quickly as I can, and I can turn around and try and deal with that, because it's not an easy push that side when you've got lots of tanks on the hill. So if I can try and just get as much shots in here as I can, because I'm actually starting to rack up the damage. I'm now landing my 5th pen, putting this onto 3,000 damage here. Should be able to get another shot into that type here, putting him onto a one shot if I'm lucky. Try and get a shot in here, and thankfully it does pen, and now that does put him onto a one shot, picking up 4,000 damage, one shot type, and then we have another type just underneath this ridge. Trying to see if we can find a way to finish off this type, just need him to poke a little bit more. Unfortunately it does bounce and we don't pick up that kill shot, but we may just get yet another opportunity at it, because we are actually starting to win this game. It looks like they have sort of defended the base quite well on the other side, and then we've done a pretty decent job at clearing out these tanks here. Just looking to try and kill this type here, but there is a TD covering him, so I need to wait for that tank destroyer to get pushed back. Once he's got pushed back, I know he can't shoot me now because he's behind that building. I'm going to take my gamble and try and poke up and get a shot in. We do eat one for it, but at least we just get rid of that type 5 as quickly as we can. We are now on sort of 661 hit points, which is not ideal because we are in one-shot territory now to a lot of these enemy TDs remaining on this game. But at least we've just successfully won that side, putting us into 4,444 damage. And now we're going to see if we can get any shots into this IS-4, because I think if he backs up enough out of this building, we may actually get a shot into him. And he does just back up enough, putting us on to 5,000 damage. And right now we're just going to wait and to see if we can get shots into this IS-4 for a little bit before we move on, because if he keeps backing up like he's doing, then he is going to give us a window of opportunity to put some shots in and try and pick up some more damage. We've also noticed there was a tank destroyer on the right hand side. I was just swiveling to see if I actually had any shots into that tank, but I think where he's playing behind that building, I don't quite have the shots. Unfortunately, I ended up missing the opportunity to get the shot into that IS-4 had I been pre-aimed. But the fact that he does keep backing up makes me think he may do it again, and I might be able to put him onto one shot if he does. It does poke up, and I think I actually did I hammer rack him now? I'm not sure. I put this onto about 6,000 damage and 2 kills. So now we are winning this game. It's an 11 versus 8. Like I say, it's a little bit. It's a shame I couldn't have a little bit more hit points left here. But I could have eaten at least one shot from a TD. It means I can make some more aggressive pushes, knowing that I can eat a shot to get there. But I can't because I am on a one shot. But we are having a nice game. 6,000 damage, 2 kills. It's 11 versus 7. But this game is certainly not over yet. A lot can change in it, especially on a map like this. We're just seeing if we can get any more shots into these heavy tanks, but I don't think we do. And I think it's about time that I want to try and make a start, seeing if we can push across on the left hand side where our cap is, and see if we can spot anything which may be in the field. See if we can get any shots onto them. So I don't really fancy pushing the other side. I think it would just be a little bit awkward because they're probably. There'll be tanks on the hill that will probably spot me, and it's just too risky. I think this side might be safer for me. What I'd ideally like to happen is our light tank, who's on full health just on our base now, makes a move and tries to spot them, because I'm going to put myself in a position to shoot anything which gets detected down this road. So if someone could just give us a bit of vision, then we can give them some assistance and start clearing this out. If not, we may have to just wait until this heavy tank here gets taken out, and once that heavy tank gets taken out, we can probably make a push and try and spot for ourselves. So we're going to look to see if we can get a shot into this heavy. Our friendly light tank is actually moving in, and if he does kill this enemy heavy tank, then it's this QL, but it will give us freedom to at least move up the map, because The enemy team have brought this back slightly now. It's 9 versus 7. So it is a close game, but we're having a decent game. We're on 6,000 damage here. We've still 7 tanks remaining, so there's still an opportunity to pick up a lot more damage in this game. We just got to be careful knowing that we are one-shot these TDs. I'm just hoping this QL gets taken out, and thankfully it does get taken out by a friendly T95. Unfortunately, our light tank does get taken out, but with that QL being removed from that position, that may just give me enough opportunity to push up and try and get across the other side unlit. I'm going to need to go as wide as we can. I don't want to go too wide that I drown going through this water, but the second I've gone across, I'm going to try and hug the border of the map. Probably shouldn't have knocked down that tree, because that does give them an opportunity, if they're paying attention, to see a tank crossing this side. I don't want that to happen. I know there's an enemy E4 in this sort of building to the right. I'm just hoping that I can stay far enough away that I don't get detected, because if I can get across to the other side, then I can start working angles to try and get shots in. I think some of the enemy tank destroyers have started to move around into our base, but it is still got a few tanks protecting it, so I'm going to see if we can get into position to shoot this E4. Now we have got a shot in. I'm hoping I'm far enough away, but I shouldn't actually get detected here. Actually, I'm outside my detection circle. We do put one in, putting him onto a one shot now, and hopefully we should be able to finish him off here. You know, if we roll for average, we should have to kill, and we do pick that kill up, putting us under 7,258 damage now, with 4 tanks remaining. So we have a real opportunity to pick up some more damage. There isn't any artillery left as well, where, you know, if he's not been getting shot at by our friendly artillery, his chances are he's full health. So, you know, that could be another 1,000 hit points we could end up picking up. So we're trying to get there. We are going safe. We're just playing this as safe as we can. We don't want to throw this game away, being that we are so close and had to, you know, do a lot of damage in order to get this far. So we're just playing it as safe as we can. We're going to go the wide route just so we've got cover here behind this ridge. If we do spot anything, we can pull safe. I don't want to be driving across the open when I am on the one shot. We do have support from our friendly machine here, who I think is full health actually, so he might be able to drive forward and actually spot us a few things. We don't get detected, which makes me think that they are further back on the ridge, or they are starting to cross towards our base, in which case we need to stick up the pace to try and get over there. I suspect the artillery is still there. We're going to try and cross. Like I say, we haven't got detected yet. I haven't spotted anything either, and that makes me think they've either crossed to our base, or they are just on the far end of this ridge, if you want to call it. So I'm trying to head over there. We're going to find out one way or the other pretty shortly, because our friendly machine is starting to drive ahead. He's probably going to spot them if they're there. Just keep an eye out for any artillery tracers, because that would give us an indication where the artillery is. But if they're not here, then they've had to have crossed over to our base. So as we push around here, I think the friendly machine does actually spot the enemy tanks. He does spot the artillery, and I've got an opportunity here to get a nice shot into this artillery here. There is full health, and I aim it. I don't fully aim it, but I pretty much do, and I have no idea where that shot went, and that was a real shame that shot missed, because that would have put us onto 8,000 damage, and now this artillery is just going to get taken out by our friendly machine. We get the kill in the end, but yeah, we just missed up. That would have put us on 8,000 damage, so that was kind of a shame. Now I want to get a shot onto this TD, but bear in mind I am a one shot to him. I've got to be a little bit careful, so I need to wait and try he either fires, or I've got to find a different approach. We are picking up assistance from him, but I'm going to try and get a safer approach. I say this is where if I had if I was on 1,000 hit points right now, I would have just poked up, let him shoot me, and then I would have just got the shot in, so I could have guaranteed getting the damage. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen. We snapshot that shot because he's going to go into the river, and I don't think we're going to be able to get much more out of this game here. We're going to just hold off to try to see if he gets a shot in, but he gets taken out by friendly artillery, and I was just gutted that we missed that shot on the artillery, because that was just kind of typical RMG at the wrong moment there, because it would have put us onto 8,000. But we still get 4 kills, 7,300 damage, 1,000 assistance, and this time we get the ace tanker and the high caliber. So that is it for the video. So please, if you did like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. But as always, thank you for your amazing support and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!